Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us here today on this lovely Saturday evening. On behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association, I invite you to the panel discussion, Golf Manager's Game. I'm Dr. Banita Shah. I'm a trainer with AMA. I'm an academician and I'm a golfer. Incidentally, tomorrow happens to be International Golfers' Day worldwide. We celebrate the men and women who pursue golf often as a result of sheer passion rather than any other benefit. But we wonder whether it's just golf is just a game, is it just passion, is it just the joy, or does it offer any other benefit other than playing the sport per se? So to understand it more, we have an amazing panel with us. They'll be sharing their experiences in golf and business, and then we'll open the floor to questions from the audience. So let me introduce our panelists, or should I say golfers? Uh, right. Dr. Sawan Godiawala is partner Deloitte. He has 30 years of experience in providing service in the areas of mergers, acquisitions, private equity, debt syndication, restructuring, business valuation, and financial due diligence. Dr. Sawan has extensive experience in serving large national and multinational clients across several industries. Dr. Sawan is a PhD in management, a chartered accountant, holds bachelor's degrees in law and commerce, and a qualified insolvency professional. He's a visiting faculty at Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, for the past 13 years. Dr. Sawan is an angel investor and a mentor to many startups. He has also been on board and committees of several professional industries and social associations. Dr. Sawan is currently the Vice President of AMA and an avid golfer. Mr. Rohit Patel is Chairman and Managing Director, Sagar Drugs and Pharmaceuticals. His company has grown to become an eminent industry leader in Gujarat. The group's interests include fine chemicals, dye intermediaries, food preservatives, drug intermediaries, bulk pharmaceuticals, and retail. The Sagar Group has received innumerable accolades and recognition for its work in the field. Today, the group continues to grow under his insightful and able leadership. Mr. Lohit launched Planet Health in the year 2001 with a vision of bridging the gap between health providers and patients. Planet Health is driven by dedication to deliver unwavering standards in the quality of products and services to its customers through its online shopping platform and stores. Planet Health has today grown into a chain of 38 state-of-art pharmacy, health, and wellness stores spread across different parts of Gujarat. Mr. Rohit Patel has been the past president of AMA and is a passionate golfer. Mr. Alpesh Parikh is the managing director, Gulmohar Greens Golf and Country Club. He's an entrepreneur with an engineering background and business acumen from Harvard Business School. Mr. Alpesh has had experience of more than 25 years in the field of construction, real estate, hospitality, and is the brainchild behind the development of Gulmohar Greens Golf and Country Club. His sheer passion and zeal are the sole reasons for this creation. He has been able to convert his dream into reality by making a state-of-the-art club with the world's best facilities. His deep passion for creation has also helped him to shape up a community living space around the golf club and spread. Presently is close to 200 acres of land, whereas he does organic farming in an additional 100 acres at present. I welcome all our panelists to this discussion. So let's begin our panel discussion on this particular note. Let's tee off with a few preliminary questions for our panelists, come golfers. So my first question is for all our panelists. Could you kindly tell us what motivated you to take up golf initially? Did you take it up because of personal interest, or was it a professional supplement that you could think of?
I'm still senior most as long as golf is concerned, because I started playing in 1994.
Okay.
A friend of mine said that why don't you, basically I'm a sports person, but so he said this is a very nice sport and why don't you learn it? It is so much interesting. And the best thing is you are challenging yourself. And for all your errors, you have to blame nobody else but you. And see, when you play golf, there is a target which is already decided. Like we are talking now about to correlate with business. A manager is also given target. He has got a staff, he has got a department, and he is operating. Here there is a ball, and there is a target, and you have to judge by yourself that how you achieve your target. There, your entire body is involved. So your eyes are focused, your arms, elbows, wrist, then the thigh muscles, knees, the entire thing is, entire body is involved to move. Anywhere, if there is any error, you cannot achieve your target. Either you did not focus with your eyes, or your arm did not behave the way it was ideally to go, or you did not move your thighs properly, shoulders, and they are synchronized. Okay. So then you don't, but you cannot blame anybody else. So manager is responsible for whatever happens as a result, and you have to owe your responsibility to yourself.
Okay. Dr. Sawan Koriala, how did you begin playing? What was the main motive to begin? This mic.
This is working, yeah. So if I have to give credit to somebody, or maybe if I have to blame somebody, is the gentleman over here.
Okay.
I have never ever been on a golf course before Gulmore Greens came into existence. Never. Nor would I have formally met a golfer also before that. And that must be what, 13, 14 years now? 16 years. So that was the first time there was a golf club coming up, and the gentleman and the pedigree, Trilok Bhai, of course. So everybody said he will do something which will be state of the art or worthwhile. And we just jumped into it. Okay, there would be. And then, of course, some people started commenting, and maybe this is recorded, but doesn't matter, that I am also aging maybe. And what is the game that continues forever? No other game will continue for the lifetime with you, right? All Tendulkars have to retire, whatever they are playing. And that is where I said, not a bad idea, a good club coming up, and then not very far from the city, and then naturally something that you will have to take up. But actually, to me, maybe what motivated me or what made me, I had to get into some other sport was I had a tendon Achilles rupture. So I had, while playing badminton, I broke 100% of my right ankle. And then I had to get into a game which was not a badminton or a tennis also. So that all happened exactly at the same time that this was happening. And then that's naturally, being a sportsman all life, something that we were to take up was a sport. And certainly many things that, as Rohit Bhai mentioned, that you have to align, you have to be, everything synchronized, and then you have to blame yourself only. And since last 16 years, I am blaming only myself. Because every time you go to the course, come back, and certainly you say, "Oh, this is the 10 things I did wrong today." And so you become also a big analyst.
You go back to challenge yourself again.
Yes, correct. But then we go back to the course. That also is the fact of life. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, sir?
Thank you, Vinita Ben. Good evening, all. I didn't take up golf only as someone who had to play, obviously, because I ended up building a golf club, and it had to be a professional decision. So it was obviously not just a sports decision. But to tell you briefly, I have been a sports person all my life. So obviously, when it came to coming up with a new sport called golf, it was something which I was very easy for me to latch on to. And I would like to mention here something that, generally when we say that something big happens, there has to be a strong backbone behind a decision that has happened. And we generally say that it's our better half, has to be a better half which made you do that. So for me, it was the same thing. It was a very big fight I had with my wife, which actually ended up me making a golf club. It so happened that I fought with her. I decided to just walk out of the house, and while driving aimlessly on the streets of Ahmedabad, golf happened to me. So that's how I actually the first seed of doing a golf club came into my mind. The reason was that my father, who's been very active with lots of clubs in the city of Ahmedabad, always used to keep telling me that, Alpesh, we are into real estate, we are doing a fair bit of construction, and why don't we start another club in Ahmedabad? Ahmedabad needs beyond a sports, a Rajpath, a Karnavati club. Let's see if we can think of something else. And I always used to feel that the land where we have, that's where Gulmore stands today. It's too far from the city of Ahmedabad, and there's really no USP. I mean, why would somebody really want to travel those 10, 12 kilometers and come and play probably table tennis or a badminton or swim? Makes no sense. People will still go to a Karnavati or Rajpath to play those sports. And when golf came into my mind, it actually became the perfect selling point to build a community around it, because it sort of meant that golf absolutely non-existence in the city of Ahmedabad till 2005. With real estate, it was just a combination which I thought I could explore more on. And the first person, to be very honest, I reached out to probably within a month or two of deciding and venturing into doing a golf club was Rohit Kaka. I don't know if he remembers, but the first person I reached out to was him. And true. We came up with a par 35 course, and Kaka said, yeah, so it's 31, 35, and we made it, sort of that it made a par 36 golf course, the one which we ended up designing. And we had some healthy round of discussions on a large golf map and trying to figure out what we could do. And we all became designers. We all were like golf architects trying to figure out if we could do this, this would happen. If we do this, this is the safety we should take care of, because it was very new. There were hardly any golf clubs, known clubs across India, leaving a handful, 3-4 of them out. And Ahmedabad was absolutely beyond the army club. We had nothing. So that's when Dr. Shah, my journey with golf started, and it was absolutely thought one process, because golf is something where you genuinely can't make money. So if anybody out here is banking on starting a golf club, I'll say you'll never make money if golf is the only thing that you wish to do. It's absolutely a white elephant that you can't set it free, and neither can you keep it home. So it's something which is always draining you off financially. But if you mix it up healthily with a lot of other activities where you get in more people involved with it, if you get in other activities, you get in your banquet, you get in your rooms, you get in a restaurant, you get in your party lawns. We have a lot of weddings that happen in the city of Ahmedabad. If you bring in real estate in and around these spaces, then perhaps golf does become a viable project. But on its own, it's not. So all those people who own golf courses in Ahmedabad, probably if I had my fellow golf owners next to me, each one would have said, "Arre re, aa varshe bahut nuksan karyu." So that's what we all do, and we all laugh about it, because per se, if it is thought of as one single vertical in your business, it's never going to make money. But having said that, it's the most beautiful sport I have ever played, and I happen to have played almost every sport and played them at a district or a state level. But I have realized that this is one sport which, as rightly shared by Rohit Bhai and Sawan Bhai, is something which involves a perfect yoga. It's a yoga of your head to toe. It's where everything has to be in sync for it to work for you on that particular day. And not only that, it absolutely also reflects upon how you're going to do things back at your work, because a lot of times I've realized that certain decisions which I'm not able to take sitting in my bathroom also actually come much better when you're playing on the golf course, because there's so much fresh air that you're breathing, there's so much peace and calm on a golf course that it actually makes you look at things in a very different perspective. It makes you see things very differently, and also gives you much fresher ideas. It also helps you a great deal with the people you're playing with golf. So it's just not about you yourself, but it's also about the other three people who are generally involved with you while you're playing a round of golf. You not only understand them as individuals much better. So most of the times people whom you see in an office space or for a limited period in time, may behave much differently to that same human being playing on a golf course side by side to you, because you will see compassion in him, you will see kindness in him, you will see anger in him, you will almost find every possible dictionary feeling that a human being could go through being expressed on a golf course. And hence it's a great learner, the sport itself, and it also something which will also keep you grounded at all point in time. You will never have one Tiger Woods who will win every tournament. You will never have one person who will dominate. India can dominate cricket, an Australian team can dominate cricket, but one individual you will never find dominating a sport in terms of winning every tournament. You'll still find a Tiger Woods who will probably not qualify and play the final 2 days of a golf tournament. And hence, it's something that will always ground you and bring you back to a level where you will be able to be a much matured human being, according to me. And hence, I'm advocating this sport to all of you just simply because I know you're not playing, and I wish that all of you would think about that more seriously and pick this up, because golf itself, as I was telling Dr. Shah, that it's something like a world in a world itself. All golfers will always agree to one thing, that while you see the world that is around us right now and you become a golfer, you all of a sudden start seeing two worlds. One is the world that is around you, and then one is a world called golf. You'll have every centric idea which is focused within that round circle called golf. And it's a very beautiful, trust me. So worth trying it out. And taking one extra minute out of what you have asked, which is not the question you've asked, and that is that I was asked today by one of the newspaper while I was talking to them, because we had to give a press note, and I was put in touch by Unmesh Bhai for that, and I realized that the biggest thing which today people are worried or do not align with is that we think that golf is a very expensive sport. Most of the times all of us believe that golf એટલે તો either retirement ની game અથવા બહુ જ ગજવામાં પૈસા જોઈએ અથવા બહુ જ free time જોઈએ. Actually આ ત્રણેય વસ્તુ ખોટી છે. So if given an opportunity, I like to explain more in detail, but trust me, you neither need more money to play this game, you neither have to have so much of a time also in today's age and time to play golf. It's a decent 2.5 to a maximum 4-hour sport which you can indulge in. And you do not have to be old to play this sport. You can really be young, because at least when I picked up this sport in 2004-05 when I started doing Gulmore, I realized that I almost wasted 30 years of my life in only picking up this sport. I should have actually picked it up much before in time, rather than waiting all these years just to build my own golf course so that I could learn this sport. So something which you should genuinely and very seriously take note of it. And you can bounce it off to any other golfer, and each one will tell you કે હા સાચી વાત છે, બહુ મોડું થઈ ગયું ગોલ્ફ શીખતા, થોડું વહેલું શીખ્યા હોત ને તો બહુ મજા આવી હોત.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. The sport is something which teaches you that, બહુ પહેલા કરવાની જરૂર હતી, right? So when you're playing golf, basically, Mr. Parikh, it's often debated, if you're correlating it with management, whether management is an art or science. The first question that you think of when you discuss management. So what proportion of golf is played with the heart, and what proportion of it is played with the mind? Can you compare it with the way you conduct business?
It's a very beautiful question, and I would think, Dr. Shah, that it's nothing happens with one of it. So it's neither the heart, is neither the brain. It has to be a beautiful combination of both of it in equal proportion, just like what we do while we are managers. While we work, we take that risk because we have that gut feel that my heart is saying, target to achieve thai jase, let me take that little bit of risk. So it's your heart which is involved, and at the same time you're trained to do certain things, because that's your brain which tells you that આ વસ્તુ તમે કરેલી છે, મને ખબર છે કઈ રીતે થાય, હું આ જ રીતે કરીશ તો થશે જ, because that's where your brain, your education comes in. And golf is no different. Golf is also absolutely about a lethal combination of your heart and brain that is involved when you go out and play, because if you have that right proportion of risk-taking ability, it's always, we keep saying, okay, risk versus reward. If you take that risk, you'll get that reward. So it's always doing that extra little bit of risk, but it's a calculated risk. You have to use your brains. you cannot say કે ગઈકાલે મેં ટાઈગર વુડ્સને જોયેલો એટલે આજે હું પણ ટાઈગર વુડ્સ છું. So that will never work. You should work within your own strength and weaknesses, and that if I correlate it to the management or the managers or the managerial ways of doing work, or even as entrepreneurs, we lot of time as a community, as a society, are always more worried about કે મારી બાજુન દુકાનવાળાએ કેટલો ધંધો કર્યો. So that's the same thing કે મારી બાજુના ગોલ્ફરે કેવો શોટ માર્યો. It's never about the other one. It's all about you and what limitations or what are your own needs, and you should always try and explore and work within that parameter to achieve the best results. Because if you know your own strengths and weaknesses, then trust me, in a working environment you will be able to put in the best results. Because obviously luck favors the brave, but luck does not favor the fool too. So you have to be, you can't be a foolhardy to go out and do something, and use your brains and your heart in an equal proportion. And I would say like work, same with golf, it's just that deadly right concussion of right amount of heart and right amount of brain. Do not put in more, do not put in less, just keep it equal and work to your own strength, and you'll always achieve great results out of it.
Okay, so it's basically, you have to find your own balance into whatever you're doing in terms of your heart and mind, I guess.
Absolutely. You need to have the right combination of both. You need that right concussion where you have both of them put in an equal proportion or a disparity, but based on what you think is the right thing which is going to work for you, whether it's golf or whether we correlate it to our work. That's what would always work. You cannot have one of it and just assume that the other will follow on its own.
Okay.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, but golf is the only sport, and please hear this properly, it's the only sport where never ever in your life you play the same shot again. Every time in your life you play a new shot. There is never a repetition of a shot you've ever played, because either the slope or the gradient of the ground will be different where your ball is lying. The wind speed would be different. The temperature would be different. The grass cut length would be different. If everything is same, the length of the grass or the height of the grass would be different. Your own body weight would be different. Every morning you wake up, you'll be 200 grams, 400 grams up or down. And all of this actually matters when you take that swing. Because all of this, when put into that one box and then when you do it, that's the swing that happens. So in life, this is the only sport where you will never play the same shot again. In cricket, we can hit a six or a flick a ball and we'll keep flicking it the same way. Or in a tennis, we can do a top spin and we'll do the same way. But in golf, you will never do the same thing again. It's always a new one.
Which brings to my mind another factor, that each situation perhaps would have its own contours in terms of what it contributes. So does it make sense to actually plan for anything? Which brings me to my next question for Dr. Godiawala, in the sense that each hole in golf is different, but they contribute to the totality of the round. So do you proceed with an overall plan for the entire round or a hole? And when you begin, do you do it like gradually, or if you're comparing it with business, how do you do it? Like you tackle every day differently, or you have an overall plan or something?
So a good question, and directly related to the business or the management that we
Yes.
would see in the offices. So as Alpesh mentioned, that every time, every swing is different. You don't, and actually this is news to me. I'm playing it, but yes, answer is that we've never played the same stroke, same environment, same situation, same ground, same body weight also. And you have to be very conscious about that, of course, on the golf course, because one thing that I will just digress and come back to you is this is a sport where you mentioned that it is the perception, the retired man or the old man. But two things happen. We see a lot of youngsters on the golf course and they play fabulously and they find time also, and they don't have maybe as much money when they are youngsters. But the old men who are playing also become young on the golf course. The fun of the story is, if you see the old men partying on the golf course, they were never partying as well when they were young, or themselves also. But apart from that, so it's a game from but from the point of view of 18 holes, if you are playing, 18 holes are different. Within, of course, the rhythm, the swing, everything would be. And all 18 holes are different, maybe strategy if I use the word, or different conditions that you're playing. You're going north to south, there's a different wind, and then you're going south, west to east, there's a different wind blowing also. Because naturally when you're taking a turn or coming back, so every hole there's a 5 par, 3 par, 4 par, you using different iron, you doing. So this is precisely what we do in the office. Depending on what we do, which subject, say when it comes to raw material pricing, costing and financing, you're in a different mindset, you're doing different strategies that what will work. And when it comes to customer relationship or customer positioning, logistics, you're now looking at a different strategy, what the market is absorbing. So every department in the business has its own technicalities where you try to strategize, you try to play as the situation, circumstances, as well your resources, your conditions are. So precisely, if you ask me, it's very relatable. You start from hole 1 up to 18 hole, actually you are doing 18 different things in terms of even strategy. That's what you do in the office also, that you cannot afford to be just doing the same way your management every day, even within the day at times you to change the strategies, or the way you're managing, you're directing, and the way the resources are being deployed. So quite relatable as much as that you create a manager if he starts playing golf. And I know of so many companies and our clients who have put people, their senior management actually subscribed or enrolled them for golf lessons. And the purpose of enrolling them for golf lessons are also from this point of view, this what I would relate to, that why would they want to nobody sends their people for a badminton or for a tennis.
Yes.
And why are they enrolling their senior management for golf? And several companies. So there is a direct relation that we see, that acumen that you need to bring in from the manager, from strategizing for understanding the situation, and then accordingly play. And naturally play to win. Does not matter that you win or not, but you are playing to win naturally anything that you're doing. And that's what the business is about. You're not playing to lose in business also. So that's how I think I could relate the question.
Absolutely. So in that sense, golf does feed into whatever you're doing on a daily basis, right? Which brings me to my next question for Mr. Patel. Has golf enabled you to approach the way you conduct your business differently in any manner?
Yes, of course. Like, and it affects you in the daily. See, in a daily routine, or how is your day?
Okay.
So I would say I'm not in a good mood today. Because my round of the golf today I played, it was horrible, very bad. And so it changes your temperament, it affects you also because you are so much involved. And while he was talking about all the 18 holes, but a single hole also, see, you are hitting a stationary ball. So it is all your decision for achieving your target. And it is you, only you are responsible for that. And even though you miss it, and there are hazards,
Yes.
like you go to the water, you are penalized, you go to a bunker, there are sand bunkers. So then you have to find your way, how do I come out? Same thing in business, you plan differently, but some other issues come, government have some new notifications, so whatever you have done is nullified. Also in a competition, somebody else does something and you have to counter that. The same way here also, it affects day to day how you operate your business and what are the circumstances. So for every stroke you play in golf, for entire 4.5 hours, every stroke, circumstances are different. They are not the same. So your target also changes, and accordingly you have to manage yourself. And within your resources, mind well, because you should know that's what he's saying. This golf, it shows your aukat, where you stand. So you need to know yourself, and accordingly you should try. And that's what one would like to do normally.
So it teaches you how to deal with everything which life throws at you, basically in business also.
Right.
Which brings me to my next question to Mr. Parekh, that every day is not smooth sailing in business. Golf, as we were discussing, has its own set of hazards. So how do you tackle them and how would you correlate them with a business scenario?
Basically, I would say it this way, that the best part about golf is that you still finish a round of golf. You play good or bad, you'll still finish it. Which means if you take it back to your business acumen, many a times we feel worried. જ્યારે કંઈક સારું ના થતું હોય, we're going down the negative spiral, we're worried that what will happen. Trust me, there is always a way out. Like in golf, we say that we could be stuck in sand, we could end up in a water hazard, but we still finish that hole. We may take few more strokes, but we still finish it. It's the same thing in business. We may need to work a little bit more, we may need few more strokes to move ourselves out of the puddle that we are in, but it will see to it that you're out. Also, like in golf, we use about 14 clubs. There are 14 clubs in our bag which is used. It's the same thing in life. We never do or deal with just one single thing. There are multiple of things we are doing at multiple times, like both Savan Bhai and Rohit Kaka mentioning that there are 18 different holes, 18 different challenges, 18 different ways of doing it. Each hole could be a par 3, par 4, par 5, which means a different club will come out of your bag to play that particular ball lying in a particular fashion. Same as with life. We have so many skills up our sleeve. We have so many things that we need to do multiple at times. As entrepreneurs or as managers working for someone, we are attending to phone calls, we are looking at our WhatsApp which is distracting us, but we'll still do it. We still might need some time for our Instagram, but our boss will still want us to submit an Excel sheet which has to be done, and we still need our juniors to come and give us the accounts detail that we have been asking them from a long time, and they'll still commit those mistakes and we'll still have to correct them, and still there will be a GST issue which is just cropped up, and an income tax deadline which has to be paid because 15th was the last date, and a TDS which is still unpaid. So there will always be a multifolded things that are around us at all points in time, and we may miss a deadline, we'll catch up to a deadline, but we'll always have it planned. Probably most of those who are in business will know that they'll always have a sheet in front of them which tells them at least about કે આ દિવસ પહેલા તો આ વસ્તુ મારે પૂરી કરવાની છે. These are my last dates for filing a GST return, a TDS or an income tax. All the statutory things have to be done in a certain fashion. Whether it's our banking, we'll always know that આનો ચેક લેવાનો છે, આને આપવાનો છે, આમાંથી આટલા અહીંયા જશે, ક્રેડિટ કાર્ડનું બિલ ભરવાનું છે. So there is multiple faceted. As a human being, we are multifaceted, and છેલ્લે સાંજે કદાચ થોડું શાક લઈને પણ જવાનું છે. So we could be doing 100 different things at 100 times, and we're good at all of it. I mean, we do not have to be bad at either one, and it's same with golf, that when you're out there, you have multiple weapons, multiple bats in your bag, and you are able to use each one of it at the right appropriate time and see to it that you do it in the most beautiful fashion. Also, just as an anecdote to share with everyone, that golf is the only outdoor sport which is so famous, which is played on a stationary ball. Generally, every sport is played on a moving ball. You will not come across sports which are played on a stationary ball, because this is one thing where they've given everything to you. And same is almost with life. We decide what's going to happen to us most of the times. Challenges don't come on their own. We only create our own challenges. Either we are too ambitious, so we get a challenge, or we are too lazy, hence we end up with a challenge. So it's all upon us to do things. And it's same with golf. It's a stationary ball. You have to decide how much it has to fly. Should it roll? Should it bounce? Should it fly? Should it go where you want? And then you use the best possible tool using your combination of your brain and your gut feel that okay, aatu to thai jase. And most of the times we achieve it, and few times we don't. As I said, that it just golf is a great equalizer, because it just balances you out in such a beautiful fashion that it's something that you wish to go back to it. It's same for every entrepreneur. Why do we go back? Or for every manager, why do we go back to work? It's not only, I mean, you've been in HR and you'll agree to this, is that it's not always the money that takes us back. It's many a times the passion of what we're doing that takes us back to that place. So money obviously is a very important part of it, but most of the times it's something beyond what money can give us that takes us back, and golf is exactly the same. On the worst day, Rohit Kaka will still have one good shot that he'll sleep happily with and say that, okay, I wish to go back and play this game because this is something I really enjoyed. Well, I could have done 100 things wrong, but there was one thing which was just so beautiful, so sweetly timed, and that we all have experienced, that we play that one shot which is just ideally perfect. There couldn't have been anything better than that. It was exactly what my brain said, it's exactly what my heart felt about it, and it's exactly the same distance, the same way it flew, it landed, and it was where I wanted it to be. And that's what just takes us all back to that golf course. And it's same with work, that we all go back next day morning to work is because there's something so beautiful in that room where we go out and work, that we want to be challenged. We want those things to come to us. We want those challenges to be faced by us bravely and find solutions. Whether if we are in a stock market, we want that market to be bearish one day, we want it to be bullish one day, we want to, because that's what human is all about, right? Human minds are trained to do that. I mean, we're the only species on this planet Earth which can think. There is no other species on planet Earth which can think and do things as we can do. We only are the lucky ones who can have 5 different senses and take control of each one of them as we want, the way we want. And hence we accept those challenges and keep out and keep doing it. And golf is no different. It just gives you such a beautiful combination of all 5 of them, which unfortunately no other sport will give it to you. So what I'm trying to relate here is that not only our day-to-day lives are very similar to what happens on a golf course, golf is also the only thing which gives you everything that would be offered and no other sport can offer to you, more or less like what golf does. Because most of the sports, if you today look at, whether it is table tennis, badminton, squash, hockey, football, they are all power pack sports. They are muscle sports. Basketball, volleyball, they are sports which are time bound. A test match becomes a one day becomes a T20, and we don't know how smaller the game could be. Meaning, we want everything to happen right there, then only. There is no time to think, nothing to be done. It's like in that fraction of a second we have to do. In golf, you have all the time. Nobody's going to stop you. Take your 2 minutes, go to the ball, come back again, go back again, come back again. Do it 5 times. Your partner might scold you, but he can't stop you. You can still go. The pace of play is what you decide. You can still think 5 times more. Take 3 more practice swings before you go and hit a ball. In cricket, you can't do. You can't have the bowler coming and saying, "Over adhik varam, trial ball." So that doesn't happen. You know, we have to go and hit a ball as soon as it's thrown at us. Whereas in golf, we can just do it the way we want, and hence it's such a beautiful sport.
I would add something what he has said, and about we are comparing the businesses and life also, right? So luck, sometimes luck matters. Like you're a stock market, some occurrence happens, and if you're lucky, you have something like that. Also, you had a bad shot and it is going out, but it hits the tree and it comes back sometimes. And sometimes very good ball and it hits the tree and you're unlucky. So it happens.
And not just the tree, you sometimes even have dogs which will come and take your ball and put it up there where you want.
Maybe just to add, he said that we are the only species who can think. Sometimes you feel that the biggest problem is I can think when I'm hitting the shot. I should have not thought when it was a simple shot, and I'm trying to then complicate it by thinking. But yes, that's the
which is very right. So almost every golfer, when he goes to the ball and approaches, દરેક ને એક style હોય. પેલો આપણા અમરનાથ હતા તો પેલો ખિસ્સામાં he will have the red handkerchief hanging out, or a Shrikant would walk right up to the square leg and come back before hitting a ball, because everybody has a style of doing things. Golfers have only one style. We walk up to the ball and say, please don't think. બહુ વિચાર નહીં, બહુ સિમ્પલ છે, વધારે કોમ્પ્લિકેટ ના કરાને, because we'll just try, only focus there. We'll try and complicate it in the maximum possible manner while we're doing it. So Savan is absolutely right. That's what we think, that why are we thinking so much when we are playing a shot, because we want to do 100 things out of that one shot.
So you want to achieve a lot more than what that shot can possibly give you in that sense. So irrespective, but that's the fun of it, I guess, because any obstacle, any challenge would has its own gratification that it can give you in terms of what you can gain after you have achieved it. But yes, there would be some problems within some days when things just don't go right. There's no shot which happens. So my next question for Dr. Godiawala is, what sustains your interest in golf? Have you considered changing your game, and would you like to compare it with the way that you want to stay within or change your sector or industry?
So I'm happy that you said there are some days when things don't go right. In fact, I'll just change. There are many days when the thing don't go right when you're playing golf, and then you go back to the golf course again after 3 days.
Yes.
So that is the reality. So that's what Alpesh mentioned, that it's not about winning and losing. It's about that you go there, you understand that this course is giving you so much to your other life also. And I would not say that I will not give up golf because I can stay away from home for 4 hours in a day. That's not the reason. But the actual reason is one, that this is one game which is, and the right word is not addictive, but is something where you learn also when you are there, learn your own, how do you handle yourself, your temperament, you remain, calm. And then you're playing, and then naturally comes and relates it to whatever work you're doing or whatever relationship so that is very important, that this golf is giving you something which a golfer is going back naturally for playing, for the fun of it, but also back of the mind taking back that yes, this is the game which is helping me live a life also, or take decisions also. I have problems, golf course has more problems than office, because just I hit more bad shots most of the days, but then there are so many good shots that gives that high to you also, that yes, this is what I want. So another important thing for a golf course is that you do not kind of despair. You go there to achieve more. Every golfer feels that my game is improving or will improve. Of course, hopes, but the point is that this actually is what also is bringing back, which is a real, that sportsmanship. A person wants to do more, wants to achieve more, and that's what you would want to do back home in the office, or home or office also, that you would not want to not grow. The growth is, inevitable, no choice about it. So here also you go back to the golf with a thinking that what you did wrong or not, but you want to play better. You want to go back. So giving up golf generally will not happen. Most of the golfers will go. Two, there's a huge aspect of fun when you're on a golf course of 200 acres. Imagine when you're in a golf. So that's also not something in a closed door environment. You're with yourself. You're so many hours where you can talk to yourself as well as the fellow golfers, where you can think much more than just golf. So that is also one very important reason, that where do you spend so much of time with yourself, which gives you so much of time. And that happens when I go cycling or running also, there is time. The exertion is more maybe, but here this is something which you feel in an environment which is so nice that you are there, and which also helps a state of mind. He used one word, yoga. That actually that yoga is also about the environment where you're playing. Yoga is about the speed. You're not here just rushing about things. Yoga is also about you're trying to think and balance and then try to play your own shot. You're not playing your neighbors, your other fellow players' shots yourself. And thus that is something which pulls you back again and again to the golf course. So don't think that your question that would you think about moving out, I don't think so, except
in
some
spite of the frustrations, in spite of the tired days, there are always the good shots and the bad shots.
always
So in life, for everybody, there is always a hope.
Yes.
So here also you go back with the hope that I'll play better.
Tomorrow business will be better.
Yeah,
There's
better.
always scope
Always
for
there is hope.
optimizing.
And you are correcting your mistakes also there.
Okay.
You are always and you are challenging yourself.
Also, I don't know how many have ever thought about this sport of golf in this fashion, and that is, every sport that you would have played or seen, there is always a referee you will have an umpire, a referee to take care of a decision between two opponents or two players or four players or 10 players or 22 playing at one time. This is the only sport where it's your opponent only who's checking on you. Have you ever seen a cricket where a bowler says कि तू out चुके not out? So सिवाय के अपना गली cricket में where the one of us only decides that okay that's the umpire, but otherwise no. You'll always have a neutral third person to tell you whether you're right or wrong. This is the only sport wherein you're playing together. It's your co-golfer who is actually keeping a tab on you and decides whether what you've done is right or wrong. So this is something you will never see in any other sport. Also, in any other sport, have you ever seen somebody telling कि boss जो तने punch मारो जो डाबा गाले लवे तू जो ही ले जाए? Will never happen. Or if a ball is flying and a fielder is sleeping while playing cricket, and if the ball is going to hit the fieldsman on the field, would you ever see a batsman shouting, "Hey, ball walks hai"? You will never see that. This is the only sport where if the ball is flying to a fellow golfer, the golfer himself is more worried and he'll be shouting, "Ball, ball." He'll try and distract the person at a distance so that he's safe.
He will warn him.
He'll give him a warning, whether it's a fellow golfer, whether it's a fellow caddy, anybody on the golf course, a laborer working there. The golfer will always go out and shout and see that his other fellow golfers or people on the golf course are safe in that environment and do not get hurt by his ball. So this is something which you will never see in any other sport, which you will find here in golf, that they will always care for people around you, and that's exactly what happens in our own business front as well. We generally end up doing better when we take care of our fellow supplier chain, whether it's our customers. When we go out and take care more about them, you'll generally see them coming to you more often rather than, or even your employees. If you take care of people working for you, they'll generally go out and do much more for you than anybody else. And this is exactly what golf is all about also. So there are so many such small things which are exactly that can help you in building you yourself with a much stronger culture for your own self, and which you could pass on back to your own working space as well. As a character, you'll build a much more stronger character if you're a golfer. You'll always build a great strong character if you're a sports person, as we say, but that strong could become stronger if you're perhaps a golfer.
And this is only sport where you're playing as a competition amongst your fellow golfers. For your good doing, your co-golfer, who is your competitor, he praises you. It never happens in any other sport, but your fellow competitor praises you when you are really playing well and admires.
Generally 50 રન થાય તો ફિલ્ડરો બીજા તાલી મારે, પણ પહેલા ચોગ્ગા પર કોઈ ના મારે. અહીંયા એવું છે કે while playing golf you hit one good shot, you will have your other fellow 3 golfers will come and give you a high five just for hitting that one
and
shot.
every time, you know,
Every time.
continuous. Like they would motivate you to hit better and do better.
And it's natural. It comes in very naturally to every one of them.
So because for instance, you're spending maybe like several hours with the person that you're playing with on a very regular basis. So in that sense, and the one word which is most commonly used when we are discussing golf and business is networking. So Mr. Patel, do you think that golf per se has contributed directly or indirectly, because golf is known for networking, to your business in any which way? Could you share some anecdotes?
I would say not exactly the same way. And it depends on individual, whether some people have only motive to have network and gain out of that and for some business. And there is a say that most big deals are done on the golf course. But it happens more in America and some other countries. So, but see, it depends on individual also. You take as a sport, enjoy it, and when fellow golfer is here, you are treated in an even manner, in terms of quality, how he is playing also. And if somebody is a big officer or owner of a big company or some other fellow is playing, then even they are considered to be equal while you are playing.
Yes.
But it is on individual. Some people have rather intention to gain out of it, but in general, I've seen no. A golfer is with himself. He tries to be honest to himself, and only gain is you can know the person.
Yes.
This is
Inherent qualities.
so you can have an X-ray of another person, which in normal course in your life you meet him for many times, you cannot understand that person. But if you play a round of golf with him, you know that how is he and what is he, what kind of character that gentleman has.
So what we were discussing earlier, that the kind of character traits which golf shows up in another individual, no other sport or no other activity would possibly bring forth.
I'll give you an example. I would not name, but it is heard that big deals are done on the golf course.
Yes.
So when I was learning, some 3 persons started with the coach. So one gentleman came for a week. Then he said, now he realized this is not my piece of cake, because it's a hard work also. Like in business and life, it's hard work. Here also learning is not so easy. Not so easy. So he thought that I will learn this quickly and then I can have more deals and this and that. But then he realized that this requires a lot of pain as well. And he left within a week. And I would say when people start learning golf, 70% people leave on the first week. First week only. And eventually, after a month, if you survive for a month, there are good chances that you continue. But eventually, Alpesh Bhai has a record also from academy. And he will agree with me that it is hardly 5% of who's trying to learn. They actually take up with the golf and they continue.
I would just beg to differ very little with what Rohit Kaka just mentioned is about networking. And I would say that if you come with a single-minded agenda of making money out of networking, then that's never going to happen. Because on a golf course, almost everybody is at par. You are playing with the topmost IAS or an IPS officer. He is not that as far as you're on the golf course, is just a fellow golfer. So you don't look at them in that fashion and they don't look at you either in that fashion. However, if I just stick to the word network, then I would say yes, a golf will make it net worth also in terms of network, because you will genuinely get in connect with people from lot of different strata of life. You will know a lot of people when you play tournaments, when you go out and play on golf course, when you're on the 19th hole, what we call that is post a round of golf, you're just sitting and chit-chatting and probably changing your shoes or having a cup of tea. You will meet individuals whom normal scenario you will have not bumped into them, because your life or your work does not need you to meet those sort of individuals, or people from those fraternity will never be in connect with you. But this one place does give you that opportunity to network with them. But it's again about passion. If it's your passion is only money, then probably golf you shouldn't take up, because if that's your single-minded agenda, then it's not going to work. And he rightly said that you can't expect to play golf just because you think that I'll make deals on a golf course. No, then that's something which is not going to work. But if you think that I'm going to play golf because it's a beautiful sport I want to pick up, yes, I will meet a lot of new people. Yes, you will. I will make a lot of new friends which I would have probably never made of. Then yes, probably you will. For example, let me put it this way. I could have never been a friend of Rohit Kaka, because I call him Kaka because he's my dad's friend, though he's not that old, he's a very young man, but I still call him Rohit Kaka. But I could have never been, I used to earlier call him Rohit Bhai, and then I started calling him Kaka. But nonetheless, the whole point is that today I can connect with him and he can connect with me on a different level beyond my father. We both could connect one to one, and that's golf that has binded us to do that. I remember flying with him to Mauritius to play a golf tournament. We both were selected for a team and we went on to play to Mauritius for a golf tournament, and you could connect to each other. So yes, those sort of relations do build up on a golf course, but those do not have to materialize into a financial gain. But everything then again cannot be measured on the scales of finances. Also those very rich, very deep relationships that you could actually build up on a golf course, which you probably will never make up beyond that. I would say the same with Sawan Bhai. Sawan Bhai and I always knew each other much before golf happened to us, but we all of a sudden started connecting with each other on a much different plateau, different plane altogether, simply because there was something much more common now to talk about. Do we gain from each other? No, there's nothing that he has taken away from me or I have taken away or given to each other, but there's a beautiful relationship that has formed over these years, which will probably last us lifelong. And tomorrow either one of us needs something, I think we would be able to approach each other without a iota of doubt or a slightest of hesitation. So yes, that form of networks do happen on a golf course. They stay for long time and will always be there. But please do not confuse that to a greedy mind thinking that I'm going to make money because I have spent an X amount on learning golf. This is the cost of my equipment. This is my investment into golf. Abe return kya rahe avanu janu paisa kya rahe atla kare. Then golf is not the one thing that you should be going for. But if a relation is something which you think is very beautiful and you want to hold on to it, then yes, golf will always give you that.
Absolutely. Which brings me to a very beautiful quote by Oscar Wilde, who said that these days, and this was like 125 years ago, he said, and it's possibly related with what we just spoke about, in terms of building relations rather than extracting money from it. That these days we know the price of everything and the value of nothing.
Nothing, true.
So I believe that, golf contributes to the value of it rather than just translate it into the price of everything.
Very true.
So, and I think that quote is relevant in these days also in terms of our discussion and what we've been speaking about, basically. So, coming to the last hole, so to say, what would be your advice to amateurs or non-golfers who would find golf interesting? Would you advise them to take it up, and what would you suggest?
Good one. Obviously, being a golf course owner, I will obviously say, please, amra jao. But on a very honest, neutral way, if I have to address this question, I would put it up this way, and I would want you to be the person to answer this rather than me. I can only tell you one thing and clear few doubts if that's what's holding you back. One, if you're physically fit. Two, if you can afford to go out for a movie night at least once or twice a month with your family. Three, if you have enough money to take your family out for a dinner to a good restaurant, or your children out to a park, if not more, once a month. If that's where you're financially placed, then point number one, you will afford golf. It's not that expensive. Luckily, Ahmedabad today happens to be now the Mecca of golf in India. We have more number of golf courses than the number of golfers, as we keep discussing internally. Okay, we have more courses, but we have less golfers. So it's not expensive. Two, today there are a lot of credit cards which offer free rounds. We all have credit cards. We all subscribe to one or another credit or a debit card. And most of them come with a package which offers golf complimentary to you. So it's genuinely not expensive. You do not have to pick up an expensive membership to start playing golf. Golf can be played even without picking up expensive club memberships. You don't have to be a member of Gulmohar to come and learn golf at Gulmohar. You don't have to be a member of Gulmohar to come and play golf at Gulmohar. There are other means and ways of doing it which are much more economical to do it. So if finance is something that we're talking about, golf is not expensive. Two, if you play any sport, and a sport where you give at least 2 hours or 3 hours of your time once a week, twice a week, then this is a sport which you can also do, because it's not going to take away more than that much time from you as well. So you could genuinely play, one odd time in a month you could end up playing for 4 or 5 hours, But on a normal time, if you are able to spare that much time from your busy schedule, it's not a difficult one. If you are an early riser, if you are able to wake up early in the morning by 6 o'clock, then this is a sport where you could be in your office by 9:30. So it's not something that you cannot, because almost every golf course offers state-of-the-art changing room and showers, and they are complimentary. You don't pay for it. So you could actually pay for golf, but take a free shower, use their towel, use their shampoo, use all the facilities there, get ready, and probably go back to work. Yeah, so it's not a difficult proposition to do. 3, if you are reasonably physically fit. Reasonably physically fit means you are able to walk. At least there are a lot of golf courses which offer golf carts. There are courses like us which offer selective golf carts only for selected players. There are courses which genuinely only work with golf carts. So there are enough opportunities for players. If you're reasonably physically fit and you can walk a little bit, meaning you park your cart, walk up till the end of this room, play the ball and come back and sit in your cart, if that is something achievable for you, then golf is not something you cannot play, because that's the only physicality you will need. And finally, if you are someone who likes making friends, who's somebody who likes to be outdoors, somebody who likes to meet new people, then this is a sport you should think of picking up, because you'll always come across some beautiful people and sometimes there is some great knowledge which is shared on a golf course. It's not every other day that you get to bump into people and learn about their businesses, about their challenges, about their shortcomings, about some great things they could have achieved in life. Because on a golf course, to be honest, I haven't found anybody who will not answer a question, and they don't charge you for that. So you meet a consultant on a golf course and ask him a question, a Sawan bhai would never refuse to answer it. He'll give the most honest and the correct answer, and he'll not say, Saru pana bhai ave maru fee mokli aapis atli thade. That never happens. So genuinely you do come across great human beings on a golf course, and you get great answers which could completely change the way you look at life, because you will find people, entrepreneurs, people as senior as Rohit bhai, who have done so many things in their life, who've done multiple challenges in their life, and can genuinely share their experiences, guide you. Because on a golf course, I genuinely do not remember one time ever where I could have asked any question to my fellow golfer and he has not given me an honest reply to it. He would genuinely try to be helpful in whichever way he or she can be. Yeah, if it's beyond them, then they'll say, okay, this is not something I can do, but otherwise they would. So yes, it's high time you started playing golf. Please search Golf Ahmedabad. You'll come across 5-7 different options in the city of Ahmedabad where you could learn golf, look at it, whatever is best suited for you. Do walk out. It's not that expensive. If you can afford to play tennis or swim, or probably go and take a badminton lesson, then golf is probably almost the same. Yes, it's not an easy sport in terms of everything needs time. If you're a swimmer, you should remember the first day when you were thrown in a pool, probably as a kid by your parents, with a ring around you, and still you were so scared. Here too, there are no rings also. You just go and walk on your own. There are no safety rings that we put around a golfer. But it is scary, or you do get intimidated. More than scary, honestly, it is an intimidation also that કોઈ દિવસ આપણે જોયો જ નથી. હું પણ પહેલી વાર મેં લાઈફમાં ગોલ્ફ કોર્સ પર ગયો તો I was intimidated just seeing such a large space, so much of greenery, so many people around you, because our minds are not conditioned, because we've never done that thing in our life. But once you're there, twice you're there, it's not going to eat you away. It's going to only welcome you with open hands. The coaches, they welcome you with open hands. There are caddies who welcome you with open hand. They're always eager to teach you, help you out. So there's always a ambience where you will genuinely benefit from what's happening. So if this is something which you have yet not started, please go out. It might take a little longer, but then whom are you challenging? You're only challenging your own self. You don't have to be a Tiger Woods. You don't have to be the best golfer on that golf course. It's just about you yourself. And as far as you can be within that realm of things, I don't think golf is going to be that much challenging. It might take a little more, little less, but end of the day, we all picked up. Nobody stopped us from picking up, and probably people like Sawan Bhai and I started hitting balls even before a pro was there. We had a half driving range done, and we would go on a Sunday and we each would teach each other, and we all started playing it. So it's not that difficult also if you genuinely are keen to pursue, and obviously Dhagash, so if you make up your mind that I want to do this, you might take a few extra days or few extra lessons, but you surely will do it. And just to end what you asked is that golf genuinely is a world in a world itself. It's something which will completely fascinate you, bowl you out once you are involved in it. And it's a very beautiful world. It's so beautiful that it's away from all the nonsense of the routine world. So do try and indulge in this world. You will not repent being part of it. Thank you.
It's a different world. It's a community by itself. Yeah, everybody should give a try, to my opinion, and because you are challenging yourself, and many people out of, as I said, percentile is very less, but once you pick up golf, you have to be patient to learn, and then you enjoy and get that. That's a big reward. 1 month is nothing in your life, but once you learn, you will enjoy so much. And as he mentioned, you meet a different state of people. And another thing I'll tell you, that I have been in different parts of the country and would like to play golf. You walk into golf and you find somebody and they will welcome you. This is the only game I have walked in alone. And just request if there is room in your with you, can I play? They'll always welcome anywhere. And I have not seen any denial so far in the life at different places. And you make new friends and understand each other.
Maybe I'll relate this on a lighter note. That somebody asked Socrates that what would be your advice? You're asking to a non-golfer, right? That somebody asked Socrates, what would your advice to an unmarried man? Socrates said, by all means marry. So here I will say, by all means play golf. If you play good, you will be happy. If not, you will become a philosopher. On a serious note, he used one word, fascinating, and this game is actually fascinating. Absolutely fun. You will never find fights between golfer, right? There's nothing like fights that happening at all. There could be lot of grudges, most of the games there could be fights also, and there could be duel also, and then all physical also. But that's the fun. Everybody motivates everyone, and then as Rohit bhai said,
it's addictive also. It is addictive.
Addictive also in terms of, because it is fascinating, you want to be there and again and
Always.
again. And you play with total strangers also. The gentleman whom I played with, the Mr. Kirloskar, he was here for playing last time, whatever tournament. He calls me before a week and says, when are you coming to Pune? Now, never in my life would have ever met him, and then we played together, and he calls me that when are you coming to Pune to play? See, this is the fun of this. And that phone call is also good enough to, feel good, whether you go and play or not, kind of.
So, I mean, it's always interesting to meet somebody. When you're a new person, you kind of intimidated by what is there in front of you. But then, as we've been discussing, it's a welcoming sport. So you would not feel that, where am I, kind of. So that would definitely not happen, at least in golf. On that note, we'll open the floor to questions from the audience. Yes.
Hello, my name is Jigar Parekh, and as far as I understand, golf is a very rich person's game. Kind of everybody cannot afford it. That's what my intuition or whatever, I don't know. So people with only money can play golf. So kind of you need to learn golf also, you need to require money, lot of money. I mean, so very rich people's game, like kind of.
He already explained, no?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, if there is a opportunity for people, for middle class people, like mini golf or something. See, this is
We
a
do
big
have that also at Gulmore.
mini
That's
golf.
the only golf course which has a mini golf. We
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it as adventure golf. We have that at Gulmore as
Yeah,
well.
and like something like people with, see, the stick is like very long, and also people, heighted people only can play. So for short people, like, there's very difficulty to play.
We have short sticks also.
Short-
We call them clubs. We have short clubs also.
So to pot the ball in the hole and all, it's very difficult for them to swing it and to put it to in the long distance. Like, very difficult for short people and all. So maybe, I don't know. I mean,
No,
these
it
are
is
my.
not so.
Yeah, huh?
It's not so. Every individual can adjust.
Okay.
It's more a skill game. So GRP will never have a problem as far as height is concerned. Second,
Yeah.
just for comparison, because I thought somebody will ask this question, क्या वो मोगी game होता है?
Yeah.
So I actually checked with one of the tennis courts in the city where they give coaching for a month for tennis players. And I figured out that their fees are about 12 to 15,000 rupees. A good tennis court will charge 12 to 15,000 rupees for learning tennis for basically a 10, 12-year-old child if I had to go, or even probably a 20-year I had to go. I'm assuming the fees would be the same. I don't know about other clubs. At Gulmore, we charge 10,000 rupees to learn golf. So it's just the same as what you would have gone out and paid out. Perhaps tennis charges more. I think I should revise my rate today and make it at least competing with tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't need to carry your own equipments, like
In
the sticks and all.
10,000 we give you everything.
Everything, the sticks and all.
Yeah.
And
In
the
tennis
ball.
you will have to buy a 7,000 rupee racket, but in
Yeah.
golf we'll give you that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Not a question, but just a compliment. In this last 1 hour itself, you have made us feel that we are sitting inside a golf course. So,
Thank you. I
it's
really
a
appreciate
picture
sharing
setting.
that.
You have made the setting just like that. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
While you made the Gulmore Golf and Country Club, I mean, there were not many golf courses which were there. So
none.
absolutely. So
It was only one army course. But
so
only army course.
exactly. So that is entrepreneurship, is what we can call it. I mean, when you actually set it out. How long did it take to have the entire thing done and design challenges? What were the
We had some immense challenges, personally speaking. My biggest challenge was I did not know any golf designer. I didn't know where to go about it. So what I did was, like any logical mind would do, I decided to travel across India for 1 month to go to various golf courses and figure out how do they operate, what is that front side, what is their back end, how do they maintain the courses. I remember sitting in a golf manager's cabin for 1 hour just asking him for permission to take me inside the golf course so that I could see the course, because they would not just even let me get inside a golf course because I had no real connections back then in 2005 to be allowed to walk into a golf club. I didn't know how to find a golf designer as well. So I distinctly remember writing an email. I mean, like anybody will do, I also took the Sahara of Google. Let me Google पर लख्यू कि भाई golf course designer. So the first names to pop up were from Scotland and from America. So my mind said that Scotland the plane માં અહીંયા આવે સસ્તું પડે, અમેરિકા મોંઘું પડે. So I should first look at Scotland because ticket will be cheaper. Because genuinely I had I was very, very fearing that what amount of money I'm going to put into this. I write this email to this gentleman who had designed 5 golf courses in United Kingdom. He's still, I assume he's still there, from Scotland. And I write a beautiful mail to him, beautiful because that was my first email to somebody on a professional way. And I said that, sir, I'm a amateur golfer, because I was none, but I had to write something. So I said, I'm an amateur golfer who's just about picked up the sport, and I have a real estate interest in the city of Ahmedabad. I thought you will not understand Ahmedabad. So I still remember writing, it is 500 kilometers north of Mumbai. You must have heard of our financial capital, Mumbai. And I wish to build a golf course in the city of Ahmedabad. And I have 10,000 square meters of land. And please tell me what sort of a course can be designed. I actually didn't know how much land is also required to design a course. He wrote back to me with his fee structure that he will need a business class ticket. His team will travel in economy class. He will at least have to need to come in 3 to 4 times in a year. And he gave a complete breakup. And in the end, in the last line, he very beautifully wrote that I think, Alpesh, you have forgotten a zero in your that 10,000 meter, because that's the minimum you will need. That is 1 lakh square meter to even build a 9-hole golf course. Forget an 18-hole golf course. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, I actually need 1 lakh. I don't have that much. I was only so far looking at 30-40,000. Now it is 1 lakh only for golf plus a club. So yes, it were challenging times. And the next thing was that this gentleman, for whatever even his professional fees is quoting, is not going to be my budget for the whole golf course. So my next thing was that what should I do next? So I said, okay, what are the magazines? I mean, if Google can't help, go to media. There are only two people who can help you. Either Google can help or media can help. So my next thing was to figure out, are there any golf magazines in India? And I figured out there was one which was Golf Digest, which is still being published now. So Golf Digest India used to be published, and I remember writing to its editor, saying that same mail, cut, copy, paste, change it a little bit and say that I want an Indian golf architect who could do it, and can you recommend someone? And he recommended someone sitting in Delhi who finally ended up doing not just one, not just two, but ended up doing 3 golf courses in Ahmedabad. He's the one who designed Gulmore, who's designed Kensville, and has designed the Belvedere Golf Club, late Colonel K.D. Bagga, so Krishnadev Bagga. So he's the one whom we finally engaged him and were able to do. So yes, there are always challenges, and why I'm getting so much in detail about this challenge is simply because when we come up across some new ideas, we'll always have 100 people who will pull you down. But if you have faith in your own idea, like a startup, if you think that what you're doing is good, you can really achieve something out of it, and you pursue it, generally doors keep opening one after the other. I mean, I got Colonel Bagga, we got a design done. The design was not right. I didn't know what to do. I reached out to him. He corrected the whole design for me. And today we have one of the most beautifully done up golf course in the city of Ahmedabad, because it was his and his children's help, which I took Ankur and Sagar, who saw to it that we had great brainstorming in his office. I still remember over some nice biscuits and chai. If you go to his office, don't forget to take that. But it's so much of fun we had, and we could design something very passionately, and only a golfer will help you this way, that they will come forward and do this. So yes, you will always find opportunities to do things if you have faith in your own idea.
So before coming to this session, I was just thinking that golf is not a sport, but is a matter of luxury. But you changed the perception, thanks to you, sir. But still, many of us, like the youth, we still think that it is not a sport; it is a luxury. You go once in a year, and you spend so much of money and everything, and you do. Sir, you told that there are more golf clubs than the golfers, and also you quote the pricing that it is very affordable. So, sir, what are the things you are doing to actually change this perception and bring the golf as a sport and not just a luxury in Ahmedabad?
So as Gulmore, we are the only club who has a golfing calendar. So we have a golf calendar which we publish in every year in the month of December or January, and we conduct about 23 golf tournaments for club players in a year at Gulmore. So 23 meaning every 15 days we have a golf tournament happening at the club, where various golfers, amateurs, newly picked up, playing very well, who come and participate in our golf tournament. We also were always advised that, that if you're doing a golf course, how many golfers can tee off at one time? One hole 4, we have 9 holes, so 36 people. 3 hours is what you will take, 2.5 hours to play. How many hours are there in a day where there is sunlight? Say 12 hours. So about 4 times people can churn around. So 36 in 1, 4 times you do it, do your math, about 144 people is max you can play. You can't have a golf club where there are more than 500 members, because that's your outside. If you will have a club which are more than 500 or 1000 members, your golf course will always be too full, and there will be fights happening on a golf course. Today Gulmore has 4,500 members, and you'll still find a slot to play golf. So it's never about saying that golf courses will run full. Today, every course in Ahmedabad will have a slot available on every single day to go out and play. You may not get the prime spot, you may get an inferior spot in the day to play if it's one of the bigger courses, but you will always find a spot to play. Also, world over, there are special pricing for off-peak hours. So there is a peak hour price and there is an off-peak hour price. Similarly, golf also has that. Unfortunately or fortunately for the golfers of Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad is the only city where there are only off-peak hours. We do not charge peak hour rates. We only charge off-peak, and I'm not joking. So for example, you're right in your perception for certain places. So for example, if you were in a metro like Delhi, and if you were to go to DLF or a JP Greens, which are supposed to be the courses in India, other than what we have as Kalhar and Glade 1 also in Ahmedabad, these two courses would ideally charge you a green fee if you were not a credit card holder, if you were not a member of the club. Will charge you a green fee in the tune, I'm not sure about the present price, but about 5,000-7,000 rupees for one time of round of golf. In Ahmedabad, I assume you'll pay that much for a whole month of golf. So that's the difference between playing in Ahmedabad to playing anywhere in the world. And hence, golf is genuinely not an expensive sport as far as the city of Ahmedabad is concerned. Here, the equipments are available at dirt price. Now, with things going online and China being such a big player, equipments are even more cheaper and easily accessible. Because now golf is in the city of Ahmedabad from last 17 years, there are a lot of second-hand sets which are extremely unused, not extremely used, but extremely unused and easily available up for sale. So somebody would have bought an expensive set just to show that he's a golfer, and having after happily realized that that's not what he's wanting to do, will sell it off at 1/10 the price and would be easily available in pro shops across any of the golf courses. Does not need to be Gulmore, any other will be able to offer it as well. So it's genuinely a sport which is not expensive. And with now coming in of credit cards, which so far till about 2 years or 3 years back, we did not have credit cards as part of our golfing culture. But lately the credit card companies also realize that there's a great potential in every city to get involved with golf clubs. So what they do is that if you have certain privilege cards from a Kotak Mahindra or a HDFC or an American Express, you will actually get free rounds of golf, all totaling up to about 12-15 rounds in a month. You pay nothing except tip the caddy 100 rupees or 200 rupees. That's all you pay. So you don't even have to pay that little bit premium amount of 500-700 rupees also. So that's how cheap it is. Also, golf is not limited only to a golf course. A lot of golfers, including all of us, probably go on a driving range. Now that's something like going to a toddler pool, what we call in terms of swimming, that you learn on in a toddler or a shallow pool to go into a deep pool. Similarly, we have things called driving range or golf academy where you go and just hit balls. Now doing that, all you need is probably you want to go out and play for an hour and say you're hitting about 100 balls. Your cost is not more than what? 110 rupees or 150 rupees is maximum that you'll pay for hitting those balls and enjoying still golf. So genuinely golf is not expensive. Do you really know people from Japan, Korea are used to flying into various countries only to play golf, because flying into a neighboring country like Singapore or India or Malaysia from Japan is more cheaper, and then playing golf back in Japan, because Japan is a much smaller, leaner country, hence they don't have so much luxury of spaces and hence do not have those many courses. Vis-a-vis Ahmedabad, as I said, we have more golf courses, but we have less golfers. So we would probably be what, Kaka, 1,000 golfers or 800, 1,000, 1,200 golfers? About 800 to 1,000. So about 800 to 1,000 golfers, and the last recorded golf courses in Ahmedabad, big and small, would be about 16 or 18. So about 16 to 18 golf courses where you could go out and play. The premier or the best would be about 4 or 5, but there's still 16 golf courses where you could go out and play. And the premier ones only charge this much. So just imagine the ones which are not premier would probably even pay for your taxi if you go out and play. They'll say, okay, sir, we'll sponsor the taxi for you.
Before their golf course started, we were only 80 golfers in Ahmedabad. And I told him also that if you want to make golf course viable, first start academy. If you teach 1,000 people golf, then out of that at least 100 or 50 will come to play. And rightly they started first the range before the course was built.
And today, actually, Ahmedabad young golfers, for the record, we have some 4 or 5 young boys in their early 20s who are knocking on the national circuit. They are among
Yes.
the top golfers
That's
in
actually-
India, about 4 or 5 of them, who are the best golfers in our country and represent our city, Ahmedabad.
One of them is his sister's son.
One of us, my nephew.
This is the last question maybe, but I think does the golf course make you humble? Because I believe they say
Yes.
that if you play a game, it's
Yes.
recreation, but if
I
you
agree.
work at it, it's golf. So I think we talk of servant leadership and intellectual humility being the in things these days in corporates. So maybe is that one of the reasons why senior managers are forced to take the route of golf, so that it humbles you as a person, allows you to make mistakes and maybe even realize it to be able to work with the teams better.
Yes, I agree with it. It makes and I told in other language, you know, कि आपकी औकात बता देता है. And then you realize where you stand, and then you are
Same,
also
I said it equalizes you, it just
Equalize.
grounds you. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
all of
same.
that all lead to that same answer, is that
eventually it is.
it's a very humbling experience when you end up doing good, because you actually know that you could any day do a bad one. So the next stroke could be the worst one of your life. So hence it always keeps you grounded. You're never flying
You
high.
are grounded.
Okay.
Very true, sir. You learn so much from your caddies at all points in time.
Though the golfers are not the same, platform or metro, but you learn from the caddies who are carrying your bag, and you just came into the same.
Very true, very true. In fact, your caddies know more golf than you.
Absolutely. So,
And for your knowledge, many caddies have become professional, even India champions also.
True. So there are caddies who have actually represented India and played golf.
Many of them.
And we have a lot of caddy jokes on the golf course as well, where there's a joke like where you will hear a caddy saying that Saru Sahib tun jameen aao cho, because he thinks that's the time you're going to take just to finish that much. So
right. So, on that note, let us conclude. We've had a very interesting discussion today. Our panelists have brought a variety of insights to this discussion. We understand that irrespective of the purpose for which an individual does take up golf, the game enriches him or her a lot more than they originally thought of. Right? We've had beautiful insights from our golfers. It's a golf, old misconception corrected, is not a sport for the elite. It's meant anybody can take it up, and a novice or a new golfer would find it very interesting. Do take it up because you enjoy the sport more than the monetary value it gives you, because it's going to teach you a lot more about yourself, your business, teaching you more about your managerial abilities and your ability to hone them, and taking a lot of takeaways from there for your own business. Truly, golf is not a game, it's a classroom with no walls. Right?
And to encourage, I think Alpesh and all other courses also, no? For children, they are having special rates.
true. We have
So
special
that they
pricing.
encourage children to learn.
As I said, we at times also offer you a free taxi, like an Uber, which will come and pick you up.
Okay. So on behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association, I would like to thank all our panelists for sparing their valuable time and sharing their experiences in business and golf. A special note of thanks to Mr. Umesh Dikshit, who is the Executive Director, and Mr. Dishang Panchal, who is the Senior Manager Learning Consultant at AMA. Their unstinted support and dedication during the conceptualization and implementation of today's unique event have contributed to making it a success. So, definitely, I would like to thank our audience for being over here. I'm sure that we've all gained a lot in terms of our insights in golf and business. So, thank you all of you for being here. Thank you so much.